It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, South Africa, to the very first Culinary Hotline of the year. Can I get a massive ting, ting, ting? Ting, ting, ting! So we're starting the year off with our best foot forward. We had an amazing festive season. And if you've noticed, you put on a few grams, you come to the right place. Because today we've got Amy up in the kitchen, and she's going to turn those grams into gains. Amy, welcome back to the kitchen.
Thank you so much. So great to be here, as always. As you can see, we've got two recipes that we're going to be working on. We're going to start with the one here, which is a Mexican-style shakshuka. So both of these recipes are something that you can make for breakfast, because what's a great way to focus on getting those gains is to have protein first thing in the morning. It's great for losing weight, but also helps you to feel satiated throughout the day, so you don't get those cravings later on. It means satisfied.
Satisfied. So South Africa, if you want to be satisfied this morning, South Africa, get involved with the show, please do give us a call, send us a let's I'm going to go to the control room to see if I can get that number. What is that WhatsApp number? Let's see. Are we opening that? The lines are open. It's 063 408 8863. That's 063 408 8863. So send us your voice notes. Give us a call. Amy loves talking to people. Amy, you love talking in general, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
so
always
South
been a
Africa,
chatterbox.
Lines open. Amy is here for you.
Please send us any questions. We want to be able to answer those.
Absolutely.
Particularly about breakfast or food, but I mean, it could be anything, right? It's a hotline.
Anything, absolutely. So where do we begin? You said we're making a frittata, we're making some
This is the shakshuka. So what I'm going to do is just pour a little bit of olive oil into this pan, which will be nice and hot already. So we're going to start with the shakshuka just to get those flavors going, and then we're going to move on to our frittata. So what we have here is some paprika, some cumin. These really bring out those beautiful, spicy Mexican-style flavors. We've got some jalapeno, some garlic. If you're not a big fan of garlic, I would say you can just set this out, but I love a bit of garlic. It's good for the immune system.
Say, if you're not a fan of garlic, just put those people out?
Just
that sounds right. Okay.
So we're going to just start by sauteing our jalapenos and our garlic, just adding a little bit of our spices already, just to get that fragrance just coming out of the pan. And then talking about protein, we've got two types of protein here. We've got our eggs, which we'll be adding later on, and we've got our beautiful black beans. Beans also great plant-based source of protein.
Yep. I like the fact that you've got a lot of colors happening, a lot of flavors. When it comes to eating, and I'm going to say healthy, people obviously think that food's going to be a little bland, not going to have a lot of character, but you've gone for ingredients like the jalapenos, the garlic, and the spices, which can add depth, add character to your dishes. And to be honest with you, it makes it less boring, because I mean, brown chicken, brown rice and broccoli can only get you so far before you get really bored of it.
And that's why we use things like our herbs, our spices, our beautiful, even just your salt and peppers, fresh lemon juice on everything for me, just really brightens a dish up. So as you can see, we've got our flavors really into those beautiful black beans now. We're going to add some of our cherry tomatoes. So if you want, if you've got slightly bigger tomatoes, you can just quarter them. And we're just going to let that stir fry a little bit, and then add, because I know we're on time here, so I'm just going to move a little bit faster and add some tinned tomatoes as well. So just want this to kind of get all the flavors married together, get it all nice and cooked down slightly. We just want some of that liquid to evaporate before we add our eggs in a little bit later. So while this is just sauteing, I think we can start preparing our second dish.
Talk to me.
All right. If you can pass me the mushrooms first, that would be incredible. Thank you so much.
What can I do with this leek?
If you can slice that just into some fine rings, that would be great. So we're going to just heat again a little bit of olive oil in this pan over here, and start by sauteing the mushrooms first. So you can use any mushrooms, really. Mushrooms are also a source of protein. They've got quite a few different nutrients, fiber as well.
And then again, this is for our frittata.
This is for our frittata now.
Love it. Okay.
Context switching here. Shakshuka's getting nice and simmery, and we're going to prepare our frittata. And why I love this frittata dish, especially if you're into meal planning, it's a great thing to make on like a Sunday evening, and then you portion it out for the next couple of days, because it keeps quite well in the fridge. And you can really, if you're using, if we're looking at the protein quantity, for example, if you've done an hour of exercise in the morning, it's good to have about 20 grams of protein afterwards, which can look like, for example, about 3 eggs is about 20 grams of protein.
Like it.
So you can portion out the frittata to make sure that you've got that healthy breakfast ready to go when the week starts getting busy.
Perfect. Can I add some salt and pepper to the eggs? Or do you season after?
No, you can season a bit now, and then I always taste, and then I season again later. So
I
let's
like
just
that
add
you're
these
using
eggs.
eggs as a source of protein. I think it's been said that it's like the cheapest form of animal protein, which I do love. I mean, also Mother Nature's made them like perfect little package for us already. I like them fried, scrambled, poached, boiled. Anyway, I love eggs. And especially because you said you can prep this ahead of time.
Exactly,
Because
so
frittatas,
versatile.
you can have at room temperature or even cold.
Absolutely.
So that's what I love about it.
And what you can do as well is if you're trying to extend this into a lunch, you can cut a little piece of frittata, heat it up, and have a side salad with it. It's perfect. Now you've got a whole meal.
Also, for parents out there, it's a great way to hide all those veggies. You've got mushrooms in there, leeks in there. You're adding courgettes, spinach, peppers.
Exactly. You wouldn't even think how many beautiful veggies do we have all in one go. So what I'm going to do now is add some courgettes, which we've just grated here quite finely, and then some baby spinach. It seems like a lot, but it'll wilt down.
Oh, we know that. It's
Right?
your-
It's like that packet disappears.
It's like your celery that you got in December. You're like, oh,
No.
boom, it's gone down. Whole bag of spinach turned into nothing. I love it. So that's and I do actually, often when I make a dish and I add baby spinach, I'll add the whole 200-gram bag.
I know,
It
I'm
does
the
just
same.
disappear.
And it's, again, you're adding those beautiful green nutrients. And in fact, a lot of your green veggies also contain protein, especially veggies like broccolis, for example. I love how Kim cleans up after me in the kitchen. That's perfect. At home, I'm a whirlwind in the kitchen, so my partner's always cleaning up after me as well. Thank God he loves cleaning.
That's good. Okay, so I like everything's come together. So for the frittata, we're going to add our eggs that we've beaten now. That's going to kind of set up nicely.
Exactly.
We've got one that's done already. For the shakshuka, we're going to crack some eggs in it, and it's so beautiful. It's colorful, it's vibrant.
Correct.
Texture's also there, and I love that. South African, don't forget, if you want to get involved, actually, you know what? What about sending us some of your tips about like what you recommend for your healthy 2023? Get us on WhatsApp.
we want to hear.
We want to hear. 063-408-8863. That's 063-408-8863. If you haven't saved the number to your phone yet, what's up? Okay. So let us know. Send us a voice note. Give us a call. Amy and I want to hear from you. Amy, I'm absolutely loving what you're doing. We're not done with you. We're coming back a little later. South Africa, are you loving this hotline?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to the second installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting, ting, ting! Amy, it's part 2, but before we begin...
Very excited.
We have a few voice notes, and I'm very excited to hear them.
Yes.
Let's listen to our first voice note.
Good morning, Expresso family. This is Lebohang from Timeless Deco Services. It definitely has to be the Jungle Oats, those energy bars. Yeah, thank you.
So we asked people about some of their like healthy snack hacks. And I think like a delicious like bar full of grains and delicious goodness is a good one.
I'm such a big fan of oats. Honestly, you can make your own at home if you don't have access to just getting those snacks easily at a shop or something. And oats, obviously, they've got protein in them, which we've been talking about earlier, having that protein at breakfast. Also got some good carbs just to keep you going for the day. I think it's a great power breakfast to have and a good snack as well. So absolutely.
I love it, I love it. And that's not the only one. We have another one. Let's take to this voice note.
Good morning, Expresso family. I am Ovayangani from Eastern Cape, Nonid. My favorite healthy snack is peanut butter and apple slices, or watermelon and peanut butter slices.
Peanut butter all day, every day.
Again, amazing. Great source of protein, good healthy fats, and especially adding it with the fruit in between. So I love even some peanut butter banana on a sandwich, for example, piece of toast with apple slices, excellent. Some people do peanut butter and celery. I'm not sure if you're a fan of that. You kind of take the celery and you put the peanut butter in between and you smash that as a little snack.
And then sometimes if they put like little raisins on them and it's called toads on a log.
Oh no, I'm not sure if that's my thing, but if it's your thing, it's pretty healthy, good snack.
But
so
peanut butter, yes.
Good. Peanut
Love
butter.
peanut butter.
Absolute one.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap about what we made in the first part.
Yes.
So we did our beautiful frittata. This is the one that's done. We're going to finish it off by just adding a few pepper dews to it.
Exactly. So as you said towards the end of the last segment, we just poured the beautiful egg mixture onto those veggies that we'd been sauteing. You pop that into the oven for about 15 or so minutes, just until the eggs properly cooked through. And as you can see, we have this beautiful finished dish here, garnished with some basil afterwards. And there is your stunning frittata, which you can portion out for a couple of meals for the rest of the week. And here is our finished
Shakshuka.
spicy, mixy shakshuka. What you can do with this is garnish with some coriander, some avocado, just to give it that extra bam of Mexican flavor.
Gonna borrow some greenery.
Borrow some greenery
And
from
I like
the
the fact
basil.
that you can, like, if you want a shakshuka with like runnier eggs. You can just time it perfectly. This one's got like a
Absolutely.
hard-boiled egg.
Yes.
I know people that hard-boiled. I know people that prefer having hard-cooked yolks.
Completely.
And that one's for them.
Yes,
Delicious.
exactly. I prefer my eggs a little bit softer.
Me too.
So that when you cut it open, it does that beautiful drizzle, but each to their own.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move on to what I call just like, it's such a great easy dinner. It's basically a Mediterranean-style fish bake. And because I told you already about me and dishes in the kitchen.
Me too.
I like everything that can be made in one tray. So one tray meals, absolute winning hack for time saving, cleaning up afterwards, and it's a great healthy dish for the whole family.
Love it.
So what we've got in here earlier, as you spoke about the colors, we want to eat the rainbow, so having all our different colors of veggies, giving us those different nutrients. So we've got our tomatoes, some baby potatoes, some courgettes, some red pepper, some onion. And what we're going to do is basically just very rustically place this all into the baking tray. And then we're going to just drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. And the whole thing is, before we get going, get that oven to 200 degrees because we want those veggies to cook quite quickly. We'll only be adding the fish a little bit later on because fish cooks much faster than the veggies do. So today we're going to be working with some hake, which is a nice sustainable white fish. We've got some slices over here, already just getting a little bit of a flavor curing from those lemon slices. And now we're just adding some tomatoes. So I know this looks like a really full, big tray, but that's kind of what you want because those veggies do tend to cook down a little bit and everything softens, especially the tomatoes. The juices kind of roll out. I mean, look at how pretty and chunky that is, right?
Also looking at this, if you put this in a cast iron pan or dish, you could make this on the braai.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. You really could.
Especially considering...
Summer braai season, let's
okay,
go.
okay. I was going to say considering load shedding, but
Oh,
yes, yes, summer
It's
braai
true.
season.
I have been braaiing so much this whole season, really, and a lot of it is because we're forced to be outside.
And I love that,
We need to be
though.
able to cook dinner. I don't mind it
Yes.
at all. I think it's quite lovely. So just quickly, what I'm doing here is garnishing with some olive oil, some salt, some pepper, and again, you know I'm a big fan of garlic. So what we have here are a few garlic cloves. I like to keep these whole, and they just infuse that flavor into the dish. You can take them out afterwards, but I like how soft they get when they roast, and you just squeeze them out, and that's, I find, absolutely yummy.
Keeping the skins is a good idea because if you're going to cook it for a long time, the skin actually protects the garlic.
Exactly right, yes.
I love that. This
Perfect.
goes to the oven or the braai, cooks
Exactly.
down, gets nice and saucy, caramelized. Then the fish goes on. And honestly,
Exactly.
hake cooks for like not even 10 minutes.
Really, it depends on the slice thickness. So if you've got almost a more like square, sort of rectangular slice of fish, that might take a little bit longer. Here we've got some beautiful, slightly thinner slices that will cook pretty quickly. You've just got to make sure that it doesn't look translucent anymore. You really want those beautiful, opaque, flaky bits of fish to come off. That's how you know it's ready. So what I'm going to do here is just also put a little bit of fresh thyme. Thyme is the herb we're using on this amazing Mediterranean dish. And just like we were saying, imagine this has now gone into the oven for about 40 minutes or so.
Yeah.
You do want everything to have cooked down slightly, particularly the potatoes. So what you can just do is take a knife when it comes out and just poke those potatoes just to make sure that they cook through. Then what we would do is layer the fish on top, pour over some white wine or some vegetable stock. I mean, it's still summer, right? Are we having a little bit of a good
yes,
time?
of course you can,
And actually
yes.
the alcohol cooks off, but it leaves beautiful flavor. Or you can just use a cup of vegetable stock instead.
That looks so beautiful.
And
that is
again,
amazing.
lots of fresh lemon juice. Love my lemon
Always,
juice.
yes.
It just gives everything that brightness, that absolute like yumminess factor. And we can see we've got our finished dish over there with the beautiful lemon slices on top and some fresh thyme.
I think that's great. This on its own looks like it'll make an amazing side to anything.
Oh my goodness, absolutely, right? So you can take this and serve this as a side to anything else you've got going on the braai, for example. This can actually be a dish on its own if you're wanting a vegetarian option, but we are talking about getting that balance of all the nutrients, your protein, your fats, your carbs all together in here, and then of course all our delicious, colorful veggies, which pop with all the different nutrients that we need. Good vitamin C, keeping us healthy, onion for that flavor.
I love it.
There you go.
Let's see if we can squeeze in one more voice note very quickly before we wrap up the segment. Let's hear who we've got on the line.
Good morning to the Feel Good Expresso team. Mrs. Nirmala Devi Mudli of Amkumas. My favorite snack most of the time would be some tuna and mayonnaise on crackers with a bit of maybe lettuce and some seeds and raisins. Have a blessed season. Thank you.
Raisins
amazing.
again.
And you know what? I'm going to do that because did you hear that energy?
Love
That
it.
energy. So if you want to have energy
Great.
like that,
This
tuna
early in the
mayo and a little
morning,
bit of
I love it.
raisins on a cracker. I absolutely love it. South Africa, please keep your voice notes coming through. That number 063 408 8863. Amy, we're not done.
I know, so I wanted to say another great hack with that, if you like a bit of tuna on a cracker, if you don't have mayonnaise or you want to try something different, you just take some avocado, mash that up and put that with the tuna instead. avo tuna on a cracker. It's a thing, I promise.
I'm totally going to try that. We're not done yet, South Africa. There's one more segment to come. We're going to put a little twist on a normal risotto. It's going to be absolutely delicious. Risotto in barley. Do you think it'll work?
I'm sure it'll work.
It's going
Sounds
to
good.
work. So make sure you don't miss the third installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling!
Ting, ting, ting!
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, South Africa, to the third installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting, ting, ting! So we've already prepared like an amazing, colorful spread. As you can see, I'm going to put together a risotto, but not with the boreal rice. I'm going to be using some bulgur wheat. Now, risotto is amazing, but you can use any other grain like a buckwheat, a barley, and like we're using today, some bulgur wheat. Super easy, super delicious. But before we get started, we've got those voice notes. Let's have a listen.
Let's have a listen.
Good morning, Team Expresso. It's Natalie Daniels here again from Fit Mom. So one of my favorite snacks is a homemade granola or muesli from one of my colleagues, Claire Daniels. And I love having it for breakfast at the office, and I also love having it during the day. So just literally nibbling on it. And then I've got our back to school little one here. So Levi, what's your favorite snack during the day?
In the morning, I like scrambled eggs with spice and juice, and then for a snack, I like fruit salad.
And yes, he loves his fruit. So back to school and back to healthy snacks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Levi with the spice on the scrambled egg.
Oh, my word.
I love that.
So
Kids that love
adorable.
spice are absolutely
Exactly.
amazing.
And fruit salad, how cute as well. You can just imagine, it's actually such great healthy food already. And I was loving the homemade granola, because the reality is a lot of store-bought granolas can contain a lot of sugar and other additives. But when you make your own from scratch, you can add like all beautiful seeds and nuts and bits of dried fruit in there. So you can really make it what you want. And it is definitely going to be a healthier version. You can have it as a trail snack. Like she said, she eats it during the day. Perfect.
That 3 o'clock slump.
Oh,
The
I always
granola.
need something in the afternoon.
Absolutely. Okay, so let me get cracking here. We've got some leeks in
Yes.
the pot, a little bit of olive oil,
Am I
salt,
cutting
and
some
pepper.
garlic for you?
Garlic. So I like a lot of garlic. So you got 4 cloves in front of you. Those
Yes.
are big ones.
They
So
are.
it's gonna have like a nice garlicky kick to it as well. Once your leeks are soft, and always wash your leeks, because you never know if there's like a little bit of sand in there.
Agree. You always find those little specks. Totally have to wash them. Yeah.
So give it a good wash and then get it into the pot. Once they soften, not brown,
Yes.
we're gonna add our bulgur wheat in. And we're gonna toast it like we would normally toast our risotto rice. So you just wanna get the oils and the leaky flavors into the bulgur wheat. And then once it's super shiny and coated, I
Yes.
say once it's all coated, you can see the
Yes.
shine on them. Then you can go in with, we're being naughty, but it's fine. Again, a little bit of white wine, a little bit. The flavor is amazing.
Totally.
And like you said, the flavor cooks out. I mean, the
alcohol
cooks
cooks out,
and
yeah.
you get left with that beautiful flavor. So that's gonna go into the pot.
Exactly.
A little bit does do a lot, so a little bit, just for the flavor.
Yes, of
But it's
course.
optional. You don't have to add that wine in it. Once that wine's completely evaporated, and it's like, I mean, it should be dry in the pot, we can start adding our stock. So I've got a mushroom stock, and I love
Ooh,
mushrooms.
lovely. All that good umami flavor.
A lot of umami, like a nice meaty flavor.
Yes.
We're not intentionally going meat-free today. We just actually, there's quite a lot of veggie options that we're adding to this
Definitely.
dish.
Yeah.
So like a risotto, we add it a little bit at a time. And you got to stir. You want to release the starch from your grain. So we're going to add that through.
How these garlic, this chopped garlic looking. I know it's a little bit chunky.
You know, chunky is good. Chunky is good. You can add
Can
that
I add
through.
it? Wow, it smells amazing already. Those leeks are gorgeous.
And garlic, I love garlic. So like I said, I add a lot of garlic to my dishes.
So good for you as well.
Especially if you're going to cook it for a while, you cook that pungent garlic flavor out.
Definitely.
So a lot's fine. It's all good.
Yes.
So while we keep on stirring, keep on adding our stock, I believe we have another voice note.
ooh.
So let's have a listen to see who we've got on the line.
Hey everyone, hello. My favorite healthy snack is plain yogurt with raisins and strawberry with honey and lemon on top.
I like using honey as a sweetener in
Yes,
general.
agreed.
So, I mean, it's also quite nice because I always say that honey is actually acidic. So when we add lemon to food to brighten flavors, adding a bit of honey does the same thing. It adds that sweetness, adds aroma, and a little bit of acidity to lift the food. I love honey, especially like sourced from your area. I think it's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. We've got such beautiful local
Yeah.
honeys as well. I love using honey in a salad dressing. So just a bit of lemon juice, honey, olive oil, and there you go. A little bit of mustard sometimes as well. But honey's so versatile, like you say, especially if you're doing like rooibos ginger teas, soothing for sore throat. It's just such a great ingredient.
Absolutely. So often we get performers coming into the studio, you'll see them kind of like just having like tablespoons of honey before they sing. I agree. And there's also this rumor, I wonder if it's a rumor or if it's true, but if you suffer from hay fever, if you actually have the honey that's produced in your area, obviously
Yes.
from the bees collecting pollen
I've
from the
heard that
flowers.
too. I mean, I would love to know how true it is. I definitely partake in that belief because I try anything to reduce hay fever.
Oh, touch wood, because I've not had any hay fever issues yet. Oh,
Yes.
so we know honey.
Springtime is always a hard time. But those beautiful feinbos honeys, always go for those.
Love that, absolutely. So I've got a question for you, Amy.
Yes.
If someone's looking to start eating healthier, getting into like a healthier lifestyle,
Yes.
what advice do you have for them?
So I think there are a couple of basics that apply to everyone because we have to bear in mind that we all have slightly different lifestyles, slightly different bodies, different routines, different exercise perhaps. But the main things that you can always focus on, are you drinking enough water? Because when you drink enough water, then you don't get those like cravings potentially. You feel more alert. Getting enough sleep is the biggest thing. I know you asked about food, but the thing is when you're deprived of sleep, you start to then crave sugary foods, fatty foods, fast foods and things like that because your body's under a state of stress and it hasn't, restored properly. Just in terms of what we spoke about earlier this morning, starting your day with a bit of protein, it really sets you up for a successful day because it lessens your chance of having those cravings later on because you've had a good breakfast to start your day off. And now again, people are different. They've got different routines and lifestyles. I generally exercise in the morning, so for me it is quite important to have a good breakfast afterwards. Some people enjoy exercising at night. Then again, to have that protein within that hour frame after exercise is quite important. Make sure you're eating the rainbow. It's a really easy way to make sure that you're getting all those different nutrients in. Great salads, lots of veggies. We know that our plates need to have more of that as well. So those are your basics to
I love
get you
that,
going.
especially the sleep part. So very quickly, if I'm going to stock my pantry with a few healthy food essentials and fridge maybe, what would you suggest?
Okay, so I think top 5 pantry ingredients that I always have, without a doubt. So can olive oil count as one?
Oh, yes.
Because use it in everything. It's beautiful, so healthy for you on salads with your roast like we did earlier. Then I always have chickpeas. So versatile, I make my own hummus. You can toast them to make them crunchy. You can add them into curries. You can do like beautiful stews with them. So chickpeas, super easy. Black beans like we had earlier because I love like Mexican style foods. You can also like have them in the shakshuka when you make let's say like a veggie, what do you call it? So it's not the corn, it's a chili con bean or something.
Oh, I love that, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Tins of tomatoes, you can put them in anything. Roasts, again, your curries, your stews, that kind of thing. It's always handy to have tomatoes lying around. And I always keep quinoa as well, because for me, it's quite a nice, healthy addition. It's a seed, not really a grain, but we use it in the same way to bulk up your salads and things like that. In the fridge, we spoke about lemons earlier. It'll brighten any dish. So love using lemons for everything. Always have baby spinach because I like to add it to smoothies. I like to add it to breakfast dishes like we put in our frittata. Like to add it to salads. So it's a green leaf that works really hard and it's packed with nutrients. I feel like I'm running out of time. Tomatoes.
No, you got it. And I like that it's not major big transformations. It's things that you're familiar with.
Exactly.
Just small changes.
Yes.
Amy, you've done it. Thank you so much for being here. The dishes are amazing. South Africa, you were amazing with your voice notes. Thank you so much for being with us today in the kitchen. And thank you, Amy. We're back again next week for another episode of the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting, ting, ting!